A very good morning to all our viewers. Hello and welcome. You've tuned in live to Money Control and you're watching Newspresso with me, Stacey Pereira. Well, in the next few minutes, we are going to be giving you a lowdown of all the action you need to know, all the top stories from across the globe, insights from India, as well as the latest trends that you will give you the edge and keep you informed ahead of the others. So let's get straight to it and bring you all the action that we're getting from our global dispatch. Well, we've entered into the second half of the year and let's look at how the indices on Wall Street did perform. Thus yet on Friday, we did see the Dow Jones gain about 285 odd points, with the S&P 500 and NASDAQ both ending about 1.2 and 1.5% higher. Now, the mega cap technology stocks were the ones responsible for that sizable chunk of gains in 2023's market. Now, in fact, we saw Apple, that share gaining about 2.3% to close above the $3 trillion market cap. Now, we also saw this really push the NASDAQ higher, helping it to post its best start for the year in 4 decades. Now, if you look at just how the three major averages on a year-to-date basis have performed, the S&P 500 has popped about 15.9% for its best first half since 2019, while the 30-stock Dow has added a modest gains of about 3.8%. And European stocks, those ones also closed higher on Friday, notching up a strong first half, one could say. We've seen gains on resurgence in the market despite interest rate hikes as well as bank failures. Now, the pan-European stock 600, that indices closed about 1.2% higher for the session, with all the sectoral indices really giving up major positive, trading in the positive territory. Now, over the first half of the year, the index did end up roughly 8.8% higher. Now, on the macro front, we also saw the Eurozone inflation data, which dipped, coming in at 5.5% in June. Now, this according to those preliminary data reports. There was also core inflation, however, which excludes volatile energy and food prices. That one has risen to about 5.4%. This means that the headline inflation is now at its lowest point since January of 2022 in the Eurozone. But price remains still above that ECB's comfort level of 2%, that target that they've set. And for Asian markets, those have opened on a high too. We can say the first trading day of the second half of the year. Mainland Chinese indices or markets are trading in the positive despite investors digesting that lower factory output data that we saw over the weekend. Now, South Korea's Kospi is also in the green, whereas Japan's Nikkei 225 too has popped about 1.26% and has opened higher today. We're also seeing Australian markets, that one also trading comfortably in the green. But more importantly, here at home, the Gift Nifty will start trading in Gift City in Gandhinagar from today. Remember, this is the SGX Nifty, which is the futures traded on the Singapore exchange on India's NSE Nifty 50 index, which gets a rebranded avatar now to be called the Gift Nifty from today. Remember, the bell ringing ceremony for the same will take place at 3 p.m. at Gift City in Gandhinagar today. And international benchmark Brent crude futures, those ones fell, posting their fourth consecutive quarterly decline amidst fear of major central banks not being done with their interest rate hikes. Now, Brent futures traded about 3% higher, but somewhere around that $75 barrel mark. Now, signs of strengthening U.S. economic activity as well as sharp declines in the U.S. oil inventories last week were the ones that offered support. And well, this is some important developments that are conspiring over time. We have seen a protest and riots which continue in France. Now, this over the death of 17-year-old Nahil. Now, clashes were seen across Lyon, Grenoble, few parts of Paris, with worse clashes in the southern city of Marseille. Now, the streets and shops were set on fire, including gun stores which were put on fire. About 45,000 policemen have been deployed across France, and the Interior Ministry has reported over 1,000 arrests as of Friday night, which was then followed by another 200 arrests on Saturday. Now, police have used tear gas as well against these protesters. Nahel's funeral was then held earlier on Saturday. He was, remember, shot dead by the police officers at a traffic stop, and the policeman has been suspended since, and investigations are underway. And in Brazil, where far-right former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has been barred from running for office until 2030. Now, this after a panel of judges has agreed that he abused his power and cast unfounded doubts on the country's electronic voting system. The decision upends the 68-year-old's political future, also erases any chances of him from regaining power. Now, off the 5-judge bench, 2 judges were the ones that voted against the move, and the case, remember, is based on the July 18, 2022 meeting wherein Bolsonaro used the government staffers as well as the state television channel and the presidential palace in Brasilia to tell foreign ambassadors that the country's electronic voting system was rigged. Bolsonaro called the ruling an attack on Brazilian democracy, calling the trial unfair and politically motivated. And all the action back home, well, we have seen bulls rolling on Dalal Street, and the benchmark indices have hit historic highs last week with the Nifty and buying across sectors that we are seeing. Now, the benchmark indices did end at record closing highs, Sensex gaining 800 odd points to close at 64,718, whereas the Nifty too comfortably above that 19,100 levels. Now, some amount of correction and consolidation can't be ruled out at this point when we are seeing this rally, as investors will react to immediate triggers like the auto sales data that we are going to be getting in through this week. Also, HDFC merger, that one is going to keep counters quite active, but eventually investors will shift their focus towards corporate earnings, as that earnings season will kick off by the second week of July. And all the action in the primary market, where we will see 2 IPOs hit Dalal Street in the beginning of the second half of the current calendar year. Well, this including one from the main board segment. We have Kolkata-based jewelry retail company Senco Gold, which will open its IPO for subscription on July 4th, that is tomorrow, and aims to raise about 405 crore rupees. Now, the price band for this offer which closes on July 6th, has been fixed at around 301 to 317 rupees per share. And the second IPO that will be launching this week will be from the SME segment, that is Alpha Logic Industries. This is a subsidiary of BSE listed software development company Alpha Logic Technisys, will be opening its public issue today, that is July 3rd, at a price range of about 96 rupees per share, and this will be closing its IPO on July 6th. Now, apart from these 2, we have the IPOs of a couple of other companies as well. We have a Mumbai-based construction firm PKH Ventures, which will remain open for bidding till tomorrow, as well as a couple of more in the SME segment, which will have 3 issues closing this week alone. And let's look at some high frequency indicators, where June auto sales data indicates that passenger vehicles or PV sales continue to inch northward for the 6th consecutive month, and with this, SUVs continuing to be the driving the demand for the segment. Now, gradual easing of chip shortage, as well as new launches, reduced waiting periods for certain models, and a production ramp up by car makers are expected to sustain this growth momentum all through July as well. The one common factor that has been seen across these has been the decline in exports for most of these auto majors, especially the two-wheeler segments like Eicher Motors, Royal Enfield, as well as Hero MotoCorp, both posting decline in their exports. Talking about individual automakers, Maruti sales have increased just by a mere 2%, whereas Tata Motors, those ones have delivered their best quarter numbers in EV sales, although commercial vehicles sales has remained subdued. And state-owned Bank of Baroda, that one plans to sell up to 49% stake in its credit card business arm called BOB Financial Solutions. Now, according to sources, the bank has floated a request for proposal for roping in a strategic investor, and the process is expected to be completed in another year or so. Now, BOB intends to offload up to 49% in the combination of primary as well as secondary capital for one or multiple investors in order to create more value for the company. Currently, BOB Financial Solutions is a 100% wholly owned subsidiary of Bank of Baroda. And to some political developments there that have unfolded over the weekend. We've seen here in Maharashtra where Ajit Pawar has taken oath as the second Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra. And remember, the NCP leader Ajit Pawar, who recently offered to resign as the leader of opposition, took an oath along with 8 of other MLAs from the NCP who were sworn in as ministers. Now, Chief Minister Eknath Shinde as well as existing Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis were present at Raj Bhavan when this sudden change of government dynamics unfolded. Now, this is the third time in 4 years that Ajit Pawar has taken oath as a Deputy Chief Minister. Meanwhile, Sharad Pawar, his uncle, has decided to convene a meeting on July 5th to discuss the developments and future course of action. Maharashtra's NCP leader Jayant Patil said that NCP is not with Ajit Pawar at this point. And let's get you on the latest trends then. Well, we did see a lot of action over social media, especially Twitter, wherein users worldwide, really saw issues in accessing their tweets as well as refresh feeds. This came after Twitter CEO Musk imposed restrictions effective from the 1st of July. The reason, he stated, was the extreme levels of data scrapping and system manipulation. In his tweet, he said that Blue Twitter subscribers will be limited to reading just 6,000 tweets a day, which will be later increased to 8,000, whereas users without any subscription can only view 600 tweets, which will be later increased to 800. Now, Musk called this decision as a temporary emergency measure. He also went on to say that Twitter was getting a data pillage so much that it was degrading services for normal users. And well, the weather in Chicago continues to put a dampener on the first ever street race in Chicago. This was supposed to be held on Saturday, but the event started off with the Xfinity practice and the qualifying. Then the checkered flag was waved to start the race, but about halfway through, lightning and rain threats forced NASCAR to postpone it until Sunday. Even the Coldplay concert that was scheduled had to be cancelled due to the rains. And the rain pitch is threatened. The pitch, in fact, has been threatened by rain and flash flood, and which is why it had to be postponed. And for all the cricketing action, the Board Control of Cricket in India, or BCCI, has on July 1st announced that the fantasy sport major Dream 11 has been named the lead sponsor for Team India, and this for a period of 3 years. Remember, they are replacing EdTech giant Byju's. Now, following this, Dream 11 will be seen on the Team India's jersey starting from the Test series against West Indies. Now, according to reports, Dream 11's deal is pegged at about 358 crore rupees, which is much lesser than what Byju's has paid. Now, it's worth nothing that what Dream 11, noting what Dream 11 has done. It has been the official partner so far for the cricket tournaments like IPL from 2019, and was also the title sponsor for IPL in 2020. So we're going to see a new logo there on the Indian jerseys, not Byju's anymore, but Dream 11 replacing them. And for all the cues that you need to be watching out for, we do have a monthly Purchasing Managers Index, or PMI, readings for manufacturing as well as services for the month of June. From major economies such as US, UK, India, Eurozone, all of them are expected to start through this week. So we'll be seeing services data come in later through the week, but before that, the manufacturing data numbers will be out. So that's something to be looking forward for. We also have 5 IPO stocks which will get listed and make their debuts on the Lal Street. This includes frozen buffalo meat exporter HMA Agro. There's also in the SME segment, there's also Wifin Tech Solutions, which will be making its debut. A couple of others also making their debuts. A lot of action in the primary market that we're getting to see through this week. And for all the sporting action. We do have Wimbledon, the tennis tournament, which will be kicking off today. So that is something you can look out for. And also for cricket fans that are disappointed, as to the weekend we saw West Indies, which has failed to qualify for the 2023 ODI World Cup. Well, with that, it's a wrap, and hope this dose of Newspresso was useful and informative and gives you that kick start to the day and the week. It's just Monday. We have a lot to look forward to, so don't forget to come back tomorrow, same place, same time, for your fresh dose of Newspresso. With everyone putting this show together, thanks so much for tuning in.